Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Lowe. Today we're talking lesson. Oh, what lesson are we on? Oh, 16.3. And 16.3 is a continuation of our properties of quadrilaterals. So what you're seeing right now is lesson 16.2, where we talked about how quadrilaterals are four-sided figures broken up into rectangles, squares, rhombuses, and trapezoids, and how it gives you definition of what a rectangle is, definition of what a square is, what a rhombus is, and how these three things, rectangles, squares, and rhombuses, are all parallelograms. And then we have kind of the oddball over here, a trapezoid. Today we're going to kind of look at a different way of classifying quadrilaterals. We're going to use what we call a family tree. And the family tree basically looks like this. It takes all of the information from these two slides and puts it into a pretty nice, easy to read tree. So we have quadrilaterals at the top. Basically, quadrilaterals get broken up into parallelograms and trapezoids. When we look over here at parallelograms, can get split into rectangles and rhombuses. And then we have this thing down here, squares. And the reason this square is down below rhombus and rectangle is because as we look at this family tree, each branch shows a subcategory of the figure above, and each figure shares all of the properties of the figure above it. So if I look at a square is also a rectangle, because a rectangle has four right angles. So does a square. A square is a rhombus too, because a rhombus has four sides, and each of those four sides are the same length. So does a square. All three of these things are considered parallelograms because they have two sets of parallel sides. So as you look at this, it's pretty safe to say, okay, all rhombuses are parallelograms, but all rhombuses are not squares. Squares can be classified as a rhombus. So all squares are considered rhombuses. So we're going to go through a couple of practice lessons today to help us to figure out how to classify using this quadrilateral family tree. You might want to pause the video now so that you can at least draw this tree diagram in your notebook, because you're going to refer to this frequently for today's lesson. So let's take a look at some practice problems. 16.3 practice problems, and look, there's only 11 of them, and most of them are going to be this true-false type thing. So it says decide whether each statement is true or false. All trapezoids are parallelograms. Well, if we look at the tree diagram, here is our trapezoid, and our trapezoid falls underneath the quadrilateral. So all trapezoids are quadrilaterals, but all trapezoids are not parallelograms, because a parallelogram has two sets of parallel sides, and a trapezoid does not. So that statement is going to be false. And let's take a look at our next one. All parallelograms are rhombuses. So we're going to go back to our family tree. Here is our parallelogram. Here is our rhombus. So, and again, if we look at these two, each branch shows a subcategory of the figure above it. So parallelograms are a subcategory of quadrilaterals, and rhombuses are a subcategory of parallelograms, and each figure shares all of the properties of the figure above. So all rhombuses are parallelograms, but not all parallelograms are rhombuses, because the parallelogram is on top of the rhombus. So all parallelograms are rhombuses. That is false. And I want you to notice something. This says final check, because you're only going to get one shot at this. So you got to make sure you have it right, because it should make sense too. You only get one shot because it's true and false. So we're going to continue. So getting back to our problem, I'm going to hit yes here because I want to go back to this problem. You're going to get into some of these story problems, and you are going to want to make sure you read the questions carefully. This is all about a reading assignment, so you got to make sure you're reading carefully. We are working through Homework Buddy first, and then some of you are going to work through your adaptive homework. If you finish, Don't forget, guys, you got to be at 100% on con by Friday the 28th, or Saturday the 28th, I think. And don't forget, if you are at 100% of con, I have a Prodigy assignment that you can work on. Guys, you're probably looking at a math test over topic 16. I'm going to say probably Monday of next week. I typically don't give tests on Monday, but I think that's what we're going to do. So listen, you guys have a great afternoon. Make sure you get all your homework done, and I will see you all on Friday.